I PBS and NPR, they're probably gonna be shut down in a few years, and rightfully so. Like the corporations for public broadcasting, they became their own worst enemy because they receive tax dollars and they receive all this dollars from American people, but then they go spew things like, oh, we should give up our rights, or the Constitution is outdated, or like free speech is outdated, and they started spewing leftist propaganda. They started spewing leftist propaganda and spewing things that are anti-free or anti-American on our dime, on our money that our tax dollars give to them. You know, that's not a good thing. You know, they became their own worst enemy. PBS and NPR became their own worst enemy. You know, and they're being shut down, and rightfully so, because if you're a radio station receiving tax dollars and you start spewing anti-American stuff on tax dollars, you're no longer a radio station, you're a propaganda station. You're a propaganda rag. It's propaganda. And you're spewing propaganda. You're spewing things like, I could say, like, you could talk about freedom. You could talk about ideas and stuff. But they basically talk about how freedom is selfish and how freedom is bad, while receiving tax dollars and while receiving government subsidies. That's not good. You know, that is not good. That is something that resembles a propaganda rag, a propaganda network, a propaganda racket, a propaganda station. That's a propaganda hoax, and it's all hocus pocus, and it's all an illusion of a public broadcasting service, when it's really actually receiving and promoting things such as things like things that go against family, like trying to promote things that go against normalcy, trying to go against things that what families or what parents want their children to watch. Like, the parents want their children to be loving, to be strong boys and girls, so they can be strong and nice men and women. You know, that's what we want. You know, that is what I want, so we can have nice families, and nice families in this country, and nice families all over this country. But they are actually not doing that. They became their own worst enemy, because when you receive tax dollars and start spewing things like how the Second Amendment goes too far, and how we should restrict Second Amendment rights, and how we should restrict rights from American people while receiving tax dollars on the air or on the TV, or that's called propaganda. That's a propaganda network. They became propaganda networks, and they are being shut down. The corporations for public broadcasting is being shut down in next January, rightfully so, because they're nothing more than propaganda. They're all propaganda rags. They're nothing more than state-run or leftist Democrat propaganda. they're just propaganda telling us that we're bad for being a man, or we're bad for being an all-American girl like Sydney Sweeney, or that we're bad for being a country girl living off the land with a nice cowboy hat and overalls, and waking up 4 in the morning to milk the cattle. And, you know, that is a propaganda rag. What isn't a propaganda rag is people who speak the truth, and people who speak the mind, and people who say what they want to say, and people who actually are people who are full of this of like righteous anger towards situations in this world, and situations in the universe and in galaxies. That's what really is a news station. Kind of like how they used to think and how they used to be. You know, how they used to report, like the days of when William F. Buckley were around, or when the days of Andrew Breitbart, or the days of, like when they said, you know what, we see that you're a communist racket and you need to be shut down because they're spewing things that basically want to take away stuff and take away stuff from people who are poor and middle class, you know. And we want a better media. We want a better media in this world. We want a better world and a better world media. And that's a good thing. Until next time, I'm Mega Leo signing off.